I am so excited about our special guest today. Dr. John Burd has a PhD in biochemistry nonetheless. He's the founder of Dexcom. It's one of the world's leading continuous glucose monitors. Okay, hold on. Let me show you how good it is. There you go. He's also the founder of Lysulin and Wonder Spray. And the Lysulin is what I so want to talk about today. But why is he doing this? Because he's dedicated to making products that provides better health for people with diabetes. Welcome, sir, to this podcast. Where in the world have you been?
Well, I've been waiting for your call. I'm so happy we've connected now, and I hope we can reach a few people and inform them about these great natural products for big healthcare problems like diabetes and other things. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Now, in Nashville today, it's 98 degrees. Are you? I've been reading up on you. Are you in Wisconsin today?
I'm living in San Diego. I've been in San Diego for the past 30 years.
So shoot, I can't impress you with 98 degrees.
No, that's pretty toasty. San Diego, it's a joke. It's like, I don't know, there was a show called The Weatherman or something, and it's like every day it's like 75 degrees and partly cloudy or sunny. It's like, it's really a fabulous place to live. I'm so happy I ended up here. I started out in Indiana. That's where I was born, and went to school at Purdue as an undergraduate in biochemistry.
Oh, okay.
So I know the Midwest, and I must say I don't really miss it. It's like San Diego is just like heaven on earth, really. It's a great place to live.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, I'm sure you're not surprised by this accent that I'm in Nashville. This country girl's got a slang, but I'm honored.
I saw Loretta Lynn at the Grand Ole Opry when I was there about 20 years ago.
Oh, it's a good place to live, and if you don't like country music, it's still just the music genres is not just country now. It's just it's an it city, and so I live in a little suburb, so I don't have to go down in the busyness of country music fest right now unless I want to, because then it's thousands of people at one time. Somebody wants to be everywhere I am.
Yep, that's great.
I want to have a casual conversation today with you, so I'm going to jump right in. What got you helping? What interested you about we patients with diabetes? How did you get started helping us?
That's an easy question to answer. And actually, I've written a book about the discovery of Lysulin, and it's called The Natural Solution to the Diabetes Epidemic, The Discovery of Lysulin. It's on Amazon, and in there I describe how I got involved in diabetes. It's when I got my PhD, I went to work for the Ames division of Miles Laboratories in Elkhart, Indiana. And the Ames division of Miles Laboratories was the first company that made products for people with diabetes. Their first product was a urine test for glucose. And if you have glucose in your urine, that means your blood sugars are really high. That's too late at that point, basically. But they also developed the first home blood testing test strip and meter. And that technology has progressed so far in the last, too many years, 40 or 50 years. But I was a PhD biochemist working in the development labs there at Ames. Every time we would have a meeting, there would be somebody talking about these great products for people with diabetes and what a big problem it was. So that was really my first business introduction to diabetes. It turns out I was named after an uncle who died of the complications of diabetes. So that, and as I've aged, more and more of my family members have also developed diabetes. So I want to help these folks as much as I can. And that's how Dexcom came about, really. And also how Lysulin, I started it because one of the co-founders of Dexcom, a fellow, Dr. Stuart Updike at the University of Wisconsin, he wrote me an email and said, you should work on something important like glucose toxicity. And I'd never heard of glucose toxicity before. I don't know if you ever heard that term, yes. But I'm an expert now because it turns out we need glucose for energy to keep our brains and muscles working. but it's also toxic. It's like cyanide in our bloodstream. It chemically reacts with all the proteins in our eyes and our nerve endings and our kidneys. And when you glycate a protein, that is, it chemically reacts with the protein, you change the structure of that protein, and therefore they don't work right anymore. And I've actually got a patent with Lysulin that says that Lysulin may help people with chronic kidney disease to stop the progression and maybe reverse the progression, because your kidneys are swimming in glucose. As you know, your kidneys want to keep glucose in your body so it can use it for energy. And while it's in your kidneys, it's not just a day at the beach, it's reacting with all the proteins in your kidneys. And when you do that reaction, they don't work right anymore. So I'm trying to get a grant to fund a study to prove that that will actually work. That's a 2 or 3 year, will cost a lot of money that I don't have. So it will help people with kidney disease as well as people with diabetes. And half the people that have kidney disease have diabetes. So there's a direct relationship.
That is, it's phenomenal that you can do what you do. And I am so very grateful, and I guess totally impressed because of what the Dexcom has done for me. Because I've been doing diabetes for almost 50 years. And I don't know about everybody else in the world, but this old gal, I was in Germany when I was diagnosed, and I've lived in rural America for all of those first years. And I peed on a stick. I literally would go to the doctor's office for him to draw blood. I didn't have anything at home. And so by the time I got a monitor, I was unsure why they were giving it to me. I thought I was doing fine because I was used to the way I was handling it. And I kind of understood the path then of what they were telling me. So I really didn't understand that newfangled stuff, why I needed to do that so many times on my own. Now that's hard to admit. Well, it should be hard to admit, but it's really not. And so I am forever grateful. Now I've done the pump, I've done everything in the world that's come along that I could, but I can say the Dexcom has been the most informative. And I made a little video one day where I said, if one more of my loved ones comes and asks what my blood sugar is, because they'll hear it in the night, it probably has saved more lives than you'll ever get credit for. So you've done.
I'm happy when I hear stories like that, because I run into people, or I get emails or text messages from people that say, thank you so much for starting Dexcom. It's such a great product. And I love the product. I've only got 2 complaints. One is, well, 3 complaints. One is it's too expensive. 2 is there's customer service leaves a lot to be desired. You call their customer service and you're on hold forever, and oftentimes they can't help you very much. And the third thing is I cannot get the current management interested in Lysulin, which would help a lot of the people that use their product, but they're only interested in selling their glucose system. So,
well, let me first say it has been a joy for me, and it's been helpful. It's been everything that I've dreamed of and wished for it. And I'm so thankful that you created that. However, moving on with Lysulin, now I hope I'm saying that right. I've listened to people interview you and say it Lysulin, but I hear you say Lysulin, so I'm trying to say it right. And so when I hear about it, I want you to tell us all the benefits in with our eating habits and all those things. But you have to understand, before we get finished, I'm a counseling psychology specialist. And so I help people reverse their anxiety, and I work in those mental health spaces, and I see a great need for it. So we're going to talk about that last. Tell us about Lysulin and what it does for our blood sugars. And I know I'm type 1. I realize you advertise it for type 2, But if I ever have spikes, I don't know why in the heck I plan to use it. I have some coming to my door. And so I don't just plan to advertise it today for others, but I plan to use it because if there's spikes happening and there's natural products that can help me, why in the heck would I not take it? So tell us all about it.
That's great. And actually, the Lysulin is the only product that targets the cause of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Now, with type 1 diabetes and autoimmune disease, you have to take insulin. But I hate to hear it when people with type 2 diabetes get put on insulin, because that is a one-way street. They basically become insulin junkies, and you're going to be on insulin for the rest of your life if you're a type 2 and they get you started. And you have to take more and more and more because your insulin resistance gets worse and worse and worse. Now, if those people before they started taking insulin would take Lysulin, 70% of them would never have to take insulin. That's one thing. The other thing is, as a type 1, as we mentioned earlier, we recommend Lysulin for people with diabetes or type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes. And we don't particularly recommend it for type 1 because of concerns about hypoglycemia. Because if you take insulin and Lysulin, you might get hypoglycemia. But I've had about a dozen or more people that wear the Dexcom pump with a hypoglycemia alarm.
Yeah.
And many of them have seen their requirements for insulin go down. So I'm hoping that's the case you'll find too, is that you're one of the 70% that it works for, and you'll need less insulin than you did before, because your insulin resistance, if it works for you, your insulin resistance will improve.
He's not an endocrinologist. He's just my PCP. But he said to me recently, if you get the amount of insulin you need to a minimum, I mean, we're talking, we can get it to a few units a day, as low as we can get it. He said that slows down the pressure, like going to your eyes, from 70% to 30%. So now the focus is not just on what I eat, how much I eat, which is always 200 opportunities to eat a day. It'll always be the biggest factor for us. But it also, we're getting knowledgeable about stopping and slowing down that pressure for type 1s that go in from 70% down to 30%. And you tell me about that product that is all natural that can help that. Amazing. And I agree that along with a Dexcom that can make sure that you're balanced well, yeah, that's the best news I've heard in a while.
Actually, I hope it works for you, and I hope when it does work for you and you do end up using hopefully less insulin, that you'll spread that word to Dexcom themselves so they can help all of those 2 million customers around the world. It'd be great. You'd be a great one. Actually, this is the one of the bottles of, I guess this is our chewable tablets, and we have Lysulin is available as tablets, capsules, powder, and liquid. And the capsules and the tablets, you have to take 6 a day. That's a lot. That's why I came up with the powder, which is just 1 scoop a day, or the liquid, which is just 3 teaspoons a day. And the once a day powder, you just take a scoop and put it in a cup of water and mix it up, and it tastes like, it's lemony. It's not fabulous tasting, but it's not terrible. And that's all you need to do once a day. So I really like that product. We also just launched a shake, a chocolate or vanilla shake, which you can use for weight loss as well as better diabetes management. And I want to interject one other thing here, which is in September of last year, we got a warning letter from the FDA because our label says that Lysulin is nutritional support for people with diabetes and pre-diabetes. Well, they said we're making drug claims. Well, we said we aren't, but we are changing our labeling to satisfy the FDA. So we're now just calling it for glucose support, which helps maintain healthy blood sugar, A1C, insulin function, and if you're using the shake, weight management. So those are 4 fabulous claims that I still, if we can just spread the word, people, when we say promotes healthy blood sugar, people with diabetes know what we're talking about. It's like, the FDA has made it so that for Lysulin, saying diabetes and pre-diabetes is like Voldemort. Do you know what that means? Did you ever see Harry Potter?
Oh, yeah.
Harry Potter was the evil wizard that you couldn't say his name. Well, our Voldemort is diabetes and pre-diabetes. We can't say it, but we know that's what it's for. So anyway.
Well, I love your transparency. When I was looking up the videos, getting ready for this podcast, the one thing that I admire is the transparency of just that story alone. And I think we're getting really informed about just how to help ourselves. I realize you can get on Google and find everything, and I understand everything's not true. But when I look at the three, now let me see if I can remember them. Zinc, vitamin C, and there's one, Lysin. I don't even know how to say it, but I looked up all three of those in that product, and they all help with cortisol. They help with the stress. I'm moving over to my side. I got to back up. You got to finish talking about how it's helpful with the blood sugar, with the food and all of that first, because I am ready to jump right into mental health, because that's where it's going to help my community.
Great. I hope that it does. So anyway, as I said, we've targeted the cause of insulin resistance and diabetes, and we've got a couple little short animated videos that I wish we could show today. We probably can't, but basically they just show why Lysulin works as well as it does, because it targets that protein glycation reaction and stops it from happening, basically. So that's why your A1C drops, and that's why our clinical studies show. We did a study with pre-diabetes, and people with pre-diabetes that were on Lysulin did not progress to type 2 diabetes, whereas the placebo group, a large percentage, did go on to develop type 2 diabetes. So it's just a fabulous product, and really it's a nutritional supplement. So it's available over the counter without a prescription at low cost. I mean, all of our products are pretty much $1 a day. So $30 for the capsules, tablets, powder, or liquid. And the shake is a little more expensive because it's got so much more stuff in it. But yeah, and food, as we talked a little bit before, food is the best medicine. If people can get on the lower calories and lower their carbohydrates, that's the best thing you can do for your health. So that's the basic message.
Well, even with lowering our calories and our carbs, supplements, as we've learned in the last many years, people like Mark Hyman, I follow him and a few others that advocate for food is fuel, food is medicine. And they've explained to me about supplements being so necessary and helpful in the day we live. Because when we do all we can do, and we're working so hard not to be, in my world, on psychotropics, not to be placed on any of the medications for diabetes that you don't have to have, that you can do anything to help yourself with, there's still a place for supplements. And there's enough information out there to validate it, to let you know that if it's a good supplement, it helps you. It's like, I don't know, what do we call a PS, like a postscript, right? It's like the PS after the letter. It's just, you do all you can do. It can't do it all by itself. That's like us depending on insulin to do it all by itself. That's like us depending on any other kind of something. But when we do everything in our power, a supplement is that PS at the end of the letter that just gives you that boost and that extra help. That, I mean, I can eat something with artificial sugar, and my husband can eat something with regular sugar, and his A1C be 5.5 and mine turn up to be 6. And I'm like, okay, turn around, I'm gonna kick you just about as far as I can send you. No, but seriously, we do have a disadvantage. Now, I'm not a victim, I'm not a chicken, and I'm not a bully. But yet we do have the disadvantage that we didn't ask for this. I am responsible, I'm obligated, and I have the privilege of caring for myself well. And you're too late to tell me that I can't live long, be happy, keep my birthright of joy and deal with diabetes because I'm healthy, I'm whole, and I'm happy. But it is a disadvantage and it is problematic to have to deal with it. Nobody wants the ding busted stuff and nobody asks for it. But a supplement, so with the disadvantage at our very best, a supplement that is natural is amazing. Now, may I, before I bust, may I go on and tell you what I'm wanting to about the mental health side?
Let me give you one more comment about
Okay.
supplements, and that is that historically, supplements have had a bad name because guys like myself have touted all kinds of things that theoretically supplements can do for people. They don't have any proof. Well, we have proof. Lysulin is built on a solid scientific foundation, and we now have clinical studies that prove that all of that research that was done on lysine, zinc, and vitamin C translates into a very powerful supplement. So, but again, doctors hate supplements. They love to write prescriptions. So your doctor would much rather put you on, if you're type 2, put you on metformin or something else rather than try a supplement. And a lot of people have been able to get off of their other type 2 medications using Lysulin. So anyway, now we can, actually one more thing, you talked about your A1C, and that's classically a lab test that your doctor does. Well, we have a home test, which we also sell, that you can test your A1C at home. I'm not sure if I included those in that little gift bag I am sending you, but
well, I sure hope that is so. Oh, I didn't know you had that.
yeah, it's really great. It's on our website, and it's got this A1C now has 4 tests in it. And it's a fabulous companion product for Lysulin because you can test your A1C before you start Lysulin. And then in just 1 month, if you're in that 70% that it works for, you'll see an A1C drop in just 1 month. You don't have to wait 3 months to see a drop. It happens in less than that. Actually, in 2 weeks, we start to see our A1C improve on people that it works for.
And why is it important that we do an A1C or that we can do an A1C at home? Because we only at the medical office, we only get it taken every 3 months, not for anything medical, but because that's when the insurance will cover it. So now we've got a way to buy it and do it when we need it and want it.
So discuss it with my primary care doctor. When I go for my annual checkup, he always sends me to the lab to do lab tests before. He never runs an A1C. Now, why would you not run an A1C for everyone over the age of 50? 50% of people over the age of 50 have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. So I don't know what's the matter with our medical community, but they are not with it, that's for sure. Okay, so now you can talk about your mental health aspects, and I'm happy to hear about that.
See, I also believe that stress, we are made with the ability to handle stress in an emergency. But we've learned as people that lean and getting things so convenient, we lean on help instead of having to do any of the work ourselves. We let stress become a daily process. When we keep it longer than we should, now it just doesn't help us get out of an emergency, get a kid out of the street before a car comes down or a lion chasing us and all those things. But now we live in it daily until it builds to prolonged worry, and prolonged worry untreated builds to anxiety. And then we say, well, we can't help it. We have these racing thoughts and we have, my emotions, I can't stop them and I'm in this terrible state. Well, one skill away, I can teach people how to reverse it, not put a Band-Aid on it, but reverse anxiety, because we get to the core. It takes work. It takes you being the boss of you, but it also works. And I know it works. But with that, I've been looking for you. I've been looking for something that will help that part of us that is natural and easy to understand, and it makes for a better understanding of me being able to stand on my own. And then to find something that's been tested and true, if we take it in supplement for the blood sugars, even if we aren't diabetic, and we take it for just a supplement for good daily living, then the cortisol that is meant for our good, it decreases. It helps that calm. One of those ingredients helps calm. The others brings down stress. I mean, those three ingredients are amazing for our mental health. Again, I can't lean on it totally and let every emotion lead me. I'm the boss. Emotions are great followers. They're just not good leaders. That's all. And if I lead my emotions and then I have a supplement that's a postscript that helps me, that's what I wanted to get to today. I want you to speak to that as to, if I'm off, then tell me and it's okay. We're back to diabetes and that's wonderful. But I don't know why this can't be something. When I say I'm a poster child, I just had to learn to balance it. I tried to change who I am over and over and over. And I am just who I am. I can't be depressed because I keep getting up. But I can appreciate people that are on both ends of the spectrum, because I have to balance happiness. There's just a place for it, and there's a place you have to be quiet. And so I have to balance all that. When there are supplements that will keep the stress and anxiety and the emotions, help us stay calm, that are natural, we're not having to go to bed because we took some kind of psychotropic that put us out like a light, left us with side effects. I'm just all excited to get the package, be the poster child, if it works for me, to be able to say, this can help in that area, so that while you work to reverse anxiety, you've got a supplement that's just a help. Help me know if I'm off base or on track.
Yeah, no, that's great. I was just actually looking at the things that I sent you, and I did send you an A1C kit. So you'll actually be able to test your A1C before you start Lysulin, and then test it again a month later. And I did send you virtually everything. I sent you capsules, tablets, powder, and the shakes. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
So good.
you hit the jackpot. So yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I hope I can repay that by being a good representative of it and sharing it with others, because people like something put in their hand. Quite honestly, if they know that this will work, people will run to it, but they've got to know that it works. And so
The only way you'll know that if it works or not is to try it. And that brings up another item, which is I get so many emails from folks to say, well, I'm retired and I'm on disability and I'm a veteran and all that. I'm happy to supply product at no charge for people to try. And if it works for them, I'm happy to keep supplying it, because I'm more interested in people's health than I am about making a buck. So if folks want to try Lysulin, then hopefully you'll have a way for them to contact me, and I'd be happy to send them some product to try. So.
Well, you can't do any better than that. That speaks of a person's heart. That speaks of a person's interest in somebody else, and you've already got the proof behind you that you can create good product. So why wouldn't we trust that? Now, the only step left is to try it, see if it works. And those three ingredients is not going to hurt us. We just have to learn how much it can help us. And so
Exactly.
Now here's one question for you. I'm going to guess my A1C doesn't come down overnight. We like everything instant. You say check it in a month. So I'm going to guess the expectation is to not see a drop drastically, but over a month instead of 3 months. That's pretty drastic. But I'm talking about when people order it, not to expect to see a big A1C change for at least 3 or 4 weeks, right?
Thank you for mentioning that, because I've actually published a paper on that where I had something like 20 volunteers start Lysulin, and they tested their A1C when they started, and they tested it at at the start at 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months. And then they also tested their fasting blood sugar. And a lot of people, as you said, expect Lysulin to work like insulin to immediately lower their blood sugar. It doesn't work that way. You got to stick with it. It's like a diet. You got to stick with it if you want to see a positive result. So you got to give it a month at least. And in this study that I published, A1C dropped faster than fasting blood sugar. Turns out I was surprised by that, but there's actually, I Googled it, and there's literature that says that A1C drops faster than fasting blood sugar. And a lot of people, unfortunately, when they get the product, they'll test their fasting blood sugars, and they'll 2 weeks later say, I'd like to get my money back. It's not helping me. And after 2 weeks, your fasting blood sugar may not have started to drop yet, but you got to give it a month. And in the case of fasting blood sugar, it takes about a month for you to start to see that dropping. I can send you copies of any of these papers that you may be interested in. So just let me know.
Well, I've got another question. I've got to stop. I know we can't do it all one time, but like the people that I know that I deal with anxiety that have hypertension, when blood pressure, but not diabetes, blood sugar is not the issue, blood pressure is the issue. Because of this being natural, is it a good supplement that if they're not diabetes patients, it's not going to take them to a low naturally, right? And so the only person it might take low is me because I'm already on insulin. But if I'm not on insulin, I'm not on anything but a blood pressure medication, wouldn't it serve the person with high blood pressure that's trying to get away from anxiety and stress that I'm helping them reverse? Wouldn't it be a good supplement for them as well?
Some of our clinical studies, we did see an improvement in blood pressure, but it wasn't statistically significant, which means not everybody saw a drop. However, as you've pointed out several times, it can hurt you. You can take it. I don't have diabetes, but I take Lysulin every day since I launched the product because I wanted to see if there were any side effects and stuff like that, which there aren't. And, and my blood pressure, I also take blood pressure medicine, but that's a kind of a genetic deal. Everybody in my family is on blood pressure medicine. So you just do what you got to do. And I don't know of any supplement that's really specifically, there probably are. If you Googled supplement for blood pressure, you'd probably get to some, but I don't know that it's been proven in any published clinical studies. But Lysulin can't hurt, and it may help. I mean, why not try it? It doesn't cost that much. $1 a day is less than a coffee.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Dr. Char. Try it and see. It's a clinical Dr. Char study. Try it and see.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so give us something. I was going to say to the audience, but if you were just talking to one patient, one client that is dealing with pre-diabetes, let's say, and they've just been informed that they're headed in a wrong direction, what is one bit of encouragement? Now, I know it's to get this product and we're going to tell them where they can get it, but what's one word of encouragement you could leave with that person?
You're blessed that you're not on a one-way street. You may be able to make a U-turn, and your pre-diabetes does not necessarily have to turn in to type 2 diabetes. And there's a 70% chance that if you use this supplement, you may get off that street and turn around and go back home and not have type 2 diabetes. I mean, that's so powerful. I wish I could say it, but as I said, the FDA says I can't say that. So I don't know how to tell, I can only tell people like I'm telling you one-on-one. So we'll see.
Yes, well, it's sure proven that today we have learned that we can take responsibility and learn for ourselves and be our own best advocate. And to be our own best advocate is to find a Dr. Burd who has proven himself to help us and who has told us today If you can afford it, that's great. I've made it affordable. If you can't, I'll still help you. I don't know who would turn that down. I don't know who. So thank you so much, sir. Now, I want you to say the name of the book again, and then I want you to tell us your website, but I'm going to have my guys put it into the body of my podcast so that people can be reminded again.
Great. Yeah, and the book is on Amazon. The Natural Solution to the Diabetes Epidemic, The Discovery of Lysulin. That's the book. And the website for Lysulin is www.lysulin.com. And my personal email is jburd, Jburd, @jfburd.com. And you can also call me. I'm here 724 at 619-992-2873. And I love talking to people about these products. Can I give one second pitch for my other company and my other product?
Absolutely.
That is Wonder Spray. And we now call it Dr. Bird's Wonder Spray Skin Rescue. And I got interested in this because people with diabetes have wounds that don't heal. This product was FDA cleared by another company, the active ingredient, for wound healing. And the active ingredient is hypochlorous, HOCl. And that is the chemical that your white blood cells use to kill all germs. It kills bacteria, virus, yeast, mold, and fungus. It's 100 times more powerful than bleach, but totally safe and non-toxic. You can spray in your eyes, your nose, your throat. And if you have a sore throat, you just spray it in your throat. Your throat will immediately feel better, and it will kill whatever's trying to make you sick. It's incredible, isn't it?
That is amazing.
And it's like, why doesn't the world know about this? We spent billions of dollars on vaccine for COVID-19. Wonder Spray is on the EPA list for COVID-19 disinfection. It kills COVID-19 and all the variants. And monkeypox, I'm sure it would kill that too. And if people that wear masks, if they get the irritation on their face, they call it maskne, like acne. You just spray Wonder Spray on there, the next day it'll be gone. It's such an incredible product. And if you have like pink eye or a sinus infection, you can spray it in your eyes or in your throat when you suck in, when you spray it in your nose. And it also will stop people from snoring. So if you know anybody with a snoring problem, it's a decongestant that actually helps with allergy symptoms. And you can take a couple snorts before you go to bed, and you'll sleep through the night and stop snoring. Isn't that amazing?
It is so amazing. It is so amazing. But while, if anybody is being skeptical about it for any reason, maybe because they've not heard of it before, some time ago, nobody had heard, I certainly didn't know, that a glucose monitor could tell me my blood sugar every 5 minutes. I didn't know that in the middle of the night, I wouldn't have to wake up dead. Somebody would come because the beep went off. I didn't know. And when you were that young in this product, the world didn't know. Now we have some proof behind who you are with that. So no reason for skepticism today. I'm all in, and you and I'll be talking some more.
Happy. Thank you, Dr. Fry. And I'm looking forward to your results. So if we don't talk before, we'll talk in a month or so after you get your products, and we'll see how it's going.
Yes, sir. And thank you for a casual conversation, because the clinical world that I'm in, people need this. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It's really my pleasure.
Bye-bye now.